Hello, welcome to my channel. This is a video on the human design type manifesting generators. So here you'll find out about all things MGs and what makes MGs MGs and why are they so different and so special, just like every other type. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so manifesting generators are 34% of the population. Originally, they were kind of classified right under the generators, but over the years, people have started discovering how manifesting generators are quite different than generators. So that's why it's a very interesting combo. And sometimes, depending on who you learn from, you don't get the complete picture of the potential of a manifesting generator and what are some things that they have to do a little bit differently than generators and manifestors because MGs are a hybrid of generators and manifestors. Manifesting generators are builders just like generators, but they are also known as express builders because they tend to do things a lot more faster because they are a hybrid between generator and manifestor. A generator is a generator because of a defined sacral. So an MG has that. And on top of that, an MG has a motor connection to the throat. And that is the trait of a manifestor. So it is almost like you're looking at a manifestor that is in the body of a generator because an MG has a generator aura, which is why it does have to use the same strategy and have partial authority of a generator. But then once it gets through that hoop, once it enters an action using its strategy and authority, it can really go through things fast, just like a manifestor can. Also, just like a manifestor, it kind of enters a state of flow, right, where it's doing things, but that state of flow lasts longer than that of a manifestor because an MG has a defined sacral center, which is the most powerful motor in the body, and a manifestor lacks that. Manifesting generator is considered to be multi-passionate. They usually have a lot of areas of passion, and the reason for this is that their gift over here is to really master time, how to master something in a fast way. That is what MGs are really good at. So personally, I'm a manifesting generator, and I usually have 3 4 projects going on at the same time, and that does not bother me. In fact, that fuels me. I need that change. I need to be able to jump from one project to the other, and I can maintain the same amount of speed. In fact, what I've noticed is that if I'm just working on a single project, then I tend to slow down quite a bit. But if I have multiple projects, then I will be super fast in one project, and I notice I'm slowing down. So I notice that that's not holding my interest anymore. So now I jump to something else, and then I express through that, and then I get tired of that, and then I go back to project one, right? So as long as you're entering in things correctly, know that that is going to be your typical day. You will be jumping around, and that is completely okay for you. In fact, it is recommended for you. MGs have a defined sacral, so you have that consistent, reliable source of energy. And in addition to that, you have that motor center connected to your throat, which gives you the ability to do things. This is what makes you a true doer, just like a manifestor. With a sacral center, it gives you the ability to generate energy. However, with your throat center's primary function is to communicate, but its secondary function is to act. It's not the manifestation as in the law of attraction, but rather it's manifesting an idea into a material reality. So that is what MGs can do differently when you compare to a generator or a manifestor. So let's talk about the signature and the not self theme for a manifesting generator. Signature theme is your highest vibration. If we talk about it in terms of an emotional guidance scale, it is the highest vibration for a manifesting generator. The signature theme of satisfaction comes from the generator side of you, peace comes from the manifestor side of you. You want to make sure that you stay in a vibration for as much as you can. And that includes work. For us, work is play. So while you're working, you feel satisfied in the process and you're feeling a sense of peace while you're being left alone to work, then that is great. Then that is where you should be. But your not self theme is frustration, which means that now you're working, but you find yourself pushing and you're hitting that point of frustration, or maybe you skip some steps and now you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have done this, I'm gonna have to redo everything again, or someone is not allowing you to do the things that you wanted to. Then you hit that state of anger or frustration, which is your not self-theme and something that needs to be avoided. That's a flag for you to realize that, hey, wait, I'm operating from my not self, this is not the right place for me, and I need to get back into my energy of satisfaction and peace. Just like a generator, an MG can keep working on things as long as it lights them up. But the problem comes in when an MG starts pushing things, because a manifesting generator, just like a generator, knows that it has that energy and it can keep going, right? We can keep going if we want to, but just because we can doesn't mean we should. Because if something's not going to light you up, then chances are you are going to hit frustration, and that is your not self theme, and therefore not good for you at all. You can deplete your sacral center of its energy, and it can degenerate pretty fast from there. One of the things that differs manifesting generators from generators is that we do tend to make a lot of mistakes along the way, because we're trying to figure out how to do something really fast. Right, that's our motive, and because of that, we try all the different approaches. We don't use a step-by-step linear approach. We will jump steps, and we'll go backwards. We'll go 10 pages ahead in order to master things. And sometimes we realize, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. I skipped an important step while doing that, and then we have to come back and course correct. But that is okay, because that is the process through which we get mastering time. And eventually, once we figure it out, we can give a very express way of doing things, a very fast way of doing things. So, with manifesting generators, we do, like a generator, we do have the tendency to initiate like a manifestor. In fact, it is tenfold in a way, because we have that connection to the throat. So, the minute we get excited about something, we just want to leap into action. But that is not the right way for us to do things. The strategy for a manifesting generator is to wait to respond just like a generator. The reason for this is that an MG has the same aura as a generator. We have an open and enveloping aura rather than a generator that has this outward pushing aura. So when they initiate and when they throw an action out there, people respond to it in a certain way. It has a certain impact that MGs don't. We have that open and enveloping aura, which is why we have to wait to respond to life just like a generator would. Just like a generator, we also have the tendency to people please, because what happens is once we finish something, right? Once we finish working on something and we get a sense of satisfaction from it. And then when other people like our work, we get satisfaction from there. But it's this whole process of learning that we're not really here to people please. We're here to just get satisfaction from our own work and not rely so much on input of those outside of us. And we can sometimes tend to push ourselves to get that external validation when we really shouldn't be doing that. As I said before, we do have the tendency to leap into things a lot faster, because it's like we are a manifestor that's trapped inside a generator body, because of which we do have to abide by the rules of generator. We are a generator first, but we want to act like manifestors because we think we can do it all. We really stay away from it, because it is just going to result in a lot of incomplete projects, and you're going to hit your frustration and anger pretty fast when you enter things in the wrong way. Manifesting generators tend to actually start things a lot more quickly, because they have that connection to throat. So you can really manifest, you can really act very rapidly. And then you kind of realize that, oh man, this thing doesn't light me up anymore. And I want to quit because of that. So you tend to leap into things very fast and lose interest into things very fast. And this especially happens when you're entering into things in the wrong way, which is why with manifesting generator, even though their strategy is kind of similar to a generator, it is a little bit different. There are some more details that need to happen before you leap into action. And this is so hard for a manifesting generator, because patience is the one thing a manifesting generator doesn't have. And a human design calls for a manifesting generator to develop that before they enter into something, in order to save them from that frustration and anger. Okay, so let's talk about strategy. Manifesting generator strategy is to wait to respond and inform. So we are waiting to respond to life outside of us. This is very much like a generator, which is that when we get an idea, and here's the thing with manifesting generators, we do get a lot of ideas, because ideas are these non physical things that want to be manifested into the material reality. Non physical ideas want to be physical, and manifesting generator is one of the best ways that it can happen. We can actually make it happen. So, yeah, ideas are attracted to us. However, our strategy is to wait to respond to physical life, and an idea is still non physical. So, just because you have an idea, you, as tempting as it is, you should not leap into action right away. What will happen is that once you get an idea, you may start seeing instances of it everywhere around you. And the whole idea part is optional. Sometimes you just start seeing signs everywhere around you, and you know that okay, this is something that's in my external periphery, something that I need to respond to, and that is when you respond. I think there's this misconception that we just need to respond to people, and that is not true. We just need to respond to life, and that could be anything. That could be sounds, that could be people, that could be signs, that could be it, as long as it's something in the external reality outside of you, you can respond to it. And with a manifesting generator, like a generator, you want to see those signs external to you multiple times, and that's when you ask your sacral, you engage your sacral, which is going to be either your primary or your secondary authority, in order to make sure that you get that or from your sacral. The second piece of a manifesting generator strategy is to inform, but I'm going to get into this a little bit later, because you don't necessarily do this informing once you make a decision on whether you want to do this action or not. And there's a few hoops that a manifesting generator has to jump in order to get there, unlike a generator. And here's where the hoops come in, is through your authority, because now you got the signs outside of you that are asking you to respond to it, right? So you kind of waited to respond, and now it is your job to respond to something. So this is where you engage your authority, which is your sacral. You could also have an emotional authority as a manifesting generator, but with an emotional authority, you have to get to that neutral place before you make a decision. And when you get to that emotional and neutral place, you still engage your secondary authority, which is going to be sacral. So regardless of what your authority is as a manifesting generator, in the end, you do have to engage your sacral, and you have to ask your sacral the yes no question. With the sacral, your sacral authority is very much in the moment. It tells you what's right for you in the moment, and it responds in grunts and groans. So it's going to give you the sound or and this is a sound that you want to vocalize out loud so that you can hear it, because if you do it internally, there's a chance that it could be coming from your mind rather than from your sacral. Now, what happens with a manifesting generator is that because of that connection to the throat, there is this tendency to just leap into things very fast. And because the sacral says yes and the throat just wants to go, that can be a problem for a manifesting generator, because you don't know who's responding. Your sacral tends to mirror your throat. It is the lower form of the throat in a way, because that's the form of communication we used when we did not have that communication style back in the day, when we were still animals. So this is the reason why you want to engage your sacral a few times before you commit to something. So, for example, you get a sign from your external periphery, you ask your sacral a yes no question, it says, but now you kind of want to just check what it feels like to do this task. Maybe engage in small actions that don't require a lot of energy. You could even visualize it, what it feels like to be in the process of doing this. And this is the cue for you. With MG, sometimes what can happen is that you may start thinking, oh, what it would be like if I did this, because if I did this, then I would get this money or I would get this thing. And that is your cue that that may not be the right fit for you. As an MG, your prize is in the process. So when you visualize, or when you are taking these small actions towards this action, you will kind of get a flavor of what it feels like when you're in the process and when you're actually enjoying the process. And when you do a little bit of this, keep asking your sacral that yes no question to get the or sounds from it. If you keep getting then this action is the right one for you. With NMG, what's going to happen is there is this moment, this final moment. Chetan Parkin, he calls it the moment of truth. And this is the time where you are now leaping into the arena of massive action. You have to take this massive leap and invest a lot of your sacral energy in it. So here is where you ask your final question before you do the thing. You ask your yes no question to the sacral, and you wait for the and then you go for it. Now, as frustrating as this is, having to jump all these hoops, the great thing about a manifesting generator is that, unlike a generator who has to keep asking the yes no question, even after they enter the process, we don't have to do that. Once we enter the process, we become a manifester. Now we can just go do the thing. We obviously need to course correct because we're going to make mistakes along the way, but we don't necessarily need to keep asking our sacral, hey, is this the good thing for me? Am I on the right path? Am I on the right path? Because you already jumped through the hoops at the very beginning of the process. Now, the second piece of your strategy is to inform. And the reason why you inform is a little bit different than the manifester. The reason why you inform, once you make that decision that, okay, I'm going to go for it, you want to inform is because now you're acting. So you're going to be in your state of flow. And here is when you don't want anyone breaking your flow. while you're in a flow, you can get so much done. So you want to honor that. And that's why you want to let everyone around you who gets affected by you working through it, let them know that you're going to be busy and you're going to be gone for a while. Keep in mind that your sacral authority is very much in the moment and it is a binary. Authority is going to give you yes, no. So you want to ask your sacral authority a yes, no question. Also, know that the quality of your sacral sound is going to depend on where your sacral center is connected to. So, a bit of an advanced topic, but there's going to be a little bit of difference in how your sacral comes forward to you. For example, if it's connected to your spleen, it's going to give you a sense of what is healthy for you in the moment. So we talked about the defined sacral, but I do want to talk about the defined throat a little bit because as a manifesting generator, you are going to have a defined throat. And with that, your defined throat, the primary function of a defined throat is to communicate. And then the secondary function of the defined throat is to act, to manifest. With the throat, you always want to communicate before you act. This is also one of the reasons why we do inform before we act. Communicating before acting, that is for yourself, right? You're really communicating before you're acting, and that's where you're using a strategy and authority to do that. That is okay. But when you're communicating to offer insight or to offer something to someone, the thing about a throat center is that you always want to check with your strategy and authority before you offer those insights to others, because sometimes they can get misconstrued and we want to avoid that. And that is something that just goes with the throat center. You always want to make sure that your insights are welcome before you leap into it. Also, notice that the way you communicate something is going to be different depending on where your throat is connected. And that is okay. As long as you're aware of it, it gives you a very good understanding of what your communication style is supposed to be. And you won't feel shamed for why you communicate the way you do. So, for example, if you have your throat center that is connected to the ego or heart center, your communication style is going to be very self-centered. It's all going to be around you. It's all going to be around me, 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 me. And it could be a little off-putting for other people. And some people may not even like it, but that's okay. Those are not your people. As long as you know that that is the best, most effective way that you can communicate, that is what you should be doing. Okay, so definitely pay attention to where exactly your throat is connected. That can help you massively. And as I said before, with a defined throat, when you offer these insights or ideas to someone else, check with your strategy and authority before you do so, because otherwise it could be taken the wrong way. So, yeah, that's it for my video on manifesting generator. I hope this has helped you. I'll also leave a link to my strategy and authority cheat sheet in the description box down below. As I've indicated before, strategy and authority are some of the biggest cornerstones of human design. When you master your type strategy and authority, you don't even have to go into a lot of details, although you can go if you want. It is so much fun to learn all these little nuances about you. But once you know these three things, that is a huge part that one needs to embody within human design, and you will see how it will just make your life so much more easier. So yeah, with that, I hope this video has helped, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.